It's no secret that trolling crankbaits is the fast way to walleye fishing success. In the late spring, when water temperatures start to spike, walleye get active, really active. When the water temperature hits 60 degrees, it's time to bump up the trolling speed and incorporate high-action crankbaits. In this week's episode, Mark and Jake showcase how well high-action baits work on walleye when combined with inline planer boards and brisk trolling speeds.
You know, one of the things that you want to look at after a big blow on a body of water like Lake Erie is what happens with a hard northeast wind is it actually flips the lake, and what you get is a lot of dirty water, especially in and around the islands of Port Clinton like we are today. So what you want to do is cover water. Now there's a lot of tools out there to help us find cleaner water, things like satellite images, but the one bad thing about a satellite image is when you have a lot of clouds, you just simply can't see the dirty water. And if you look around, it has been cloudy like crazy the last couple days, so we just simply have not got a very good satellite image. So what we have to do is cover water. The best way to do that in my mind is fish crankbaits, more specifically higher action crankbaits where we can cover a lot of water really fast, and that's exactly what we're doing today. Covering water, eliminating water, and trying to find some spots where there's some productive fish. While I'm talking, fighting this fish, my inside board just rocketed back. Now I don't know if it's the right flavor or not, but that's a good sign. Maybe we're in some fish here. And one of the biggest things when you're looking for watercolor that I see is I constantly watch my prop, and that really gives me a good judge of what I'm looking for. Now what I mean by that is that I can see the cavitation plate on the motor. That tells me that the water's starting to clean up in this area pretty good. This is just a little guy, but the right flavor. Let me swing him in here. Definitely looking for a better grade of fish than that one right there. But we're doing the right things. We're covering a lot of water. We're looking for that cleaner water, start to find some walleyes, and put that program together. The cool thing about trolling is it's all about a pattern. Once you can duplicate patterns, you'll start catching a lot of fish. If this is a Walter, it's the right flavor. It's a good one.
Well, good deal. Let's take a look and see what we got here.
Sure feels like it's just heavy.
Well, that's always a good thing. Always a good thing.
Oh yeah,
that's the right flavor, nice Jake. That's what we're looking for. Oh my goodness! Not long enough.
Scoop one, scoop two. We got him.
It's like baseball. You get 3 swings at them, right? I only needed 2. That's a good thing.
There we go. That's more like what we're looking for right there. That is a really good Lake Erie summertime walleye. And one of the things here, you can see that we're fishing mag lip today. You can see that crankbait literally just buried down that fish's throat. I think what a lot of people think after a big blow, these fish will get really lethargic, and sometimes that's the case, but more often than not, you just have to find these fish. You have to cover a lot of water and you have to find them, and so the best way to do that is to go fast. Now, mag lip is not a subtle presentation. It has a lot of action, a very erratic action. You can see simply right after this blow, these fish have no problem eating it. So more so than not, just cover a lot of water, find the right water, and you'll find the right fish, and put a pile on the boat.
Well, Jake has been vacuuming, I mean literally vacuuming up fish on his side of the boat. I finally got one to stick here, and I've already got the board off and already got the snap weight off. And all I got to do now is just put a landing net on this fish. But
oh, it's a nice fish too.
It's a decent fish, and I took a little bit of footage out of what Jake was doing there and dropped the snap weight on and get this fish to go a little deeper. And it looks like we're starting to figure out some things about color too, which we can talk about here and give you some more details on color. But obviously the bright stuff seems to be what's working the best today. Let me get a handle on this guy and hold him up here. Typical type Lake Erie walleye these days. Just tons of these fish to be caught today. Well, the bright colors that Jake has been catching his fish on are actually mostly what I would describe as salmon colors, but this one I have in my hand here is truly a walleye color. It's called clown. Almost every crankbait manufacturer has a clown color. The mag lip clown, that's what it looks like, and it is actually a walleye color, and it actually is catching walleyes for us today.
Special considerations are provided by Cisco Fishing Systems and Striker brands. Go early, go late, go prepared. Additional considerations provided by Fishhawk Electronics. Trolling without a fishhawk is called boating.
You know, in the walleye world, color seems to be different everywhere you go. If you travel out west, it seems like a lot of natural type colors, and I think that has to do with clear bodies of water. Fisheries like Lake Erie is a little bit dirtier, so you can get away with some more gaudy colors. But my dad was mentioning salmon colors versus walleye colors. This color right here in a mag lip is a walleye color, in my opinion. In fact, we designed it for walleye fishing, but more natural, right? You got the golds, you got some oranges, you got some dots, but it's a pretty natural color. And then I would put this in the salmon category as far as a pretty gaudy color, some bright colors, some real bright dots, but here on Lake Erie it's working really well. And again, that has to do with the water color. If the water's a little bit dirtier, I like to use brighter color baits. The nice thing about trolling is we get to fish a lot of different lines, so we can have a lot of different color baits out there and let the fish tell us what it's going to take.
The pieces of the puzzle are falling together. We've kind of figured out what our best lead length is. The mag lip, of course, is catching fish consistently. We've had some pretty good success on colors. We can experiment more with colors, no question about that, because some of the places out here the water's a little murky, and then we get into clear little pockets of water, and so we've been experimenting a little bit with color, so we're figuring that out. But what we haven't talked about on the mag lip is the noise that this bait makes. You can put the bait in the water and run it right alongside the boat, and you can hear the rattles. It's that loud. The only other bait I can think of that's that loud is something like a rattle trap. A Bill Lewis rattle trap is very loud as well. So those rattles really do a good job of pulling fish in from a greater distance, particularly when you're facing murky colored waters like what we started out with in the morning. So a rattle is a good thing when it comes to crankbaits. It helps bring fish in closer to take a closer look, and then of course, if they like what they see, it's game on. Taking the board off myself for a few fish, but this one feels pretty good. We'll treat it like it's something special. Who knows? It might just be something special. They're all special, right? Whoa! He woke up. He does not like the boat. So I'm gonna keep him in the water here. I'll get him to you right in this corner here.
Oh yeah, nice fish, yeah. Oop. Nice.
Solid. That's one of the nicer fish we've caught today, and that is a beautiful thing. I'm gonna get in there and see if I can get him out of the net before he gets tangled in the net. Look at that. That worked out very, very nice. A big old mag lip hanging out of his mouth. 3.5 mag lip is the size we're using today, but these baits come in a variety of sizes. They have a 2.0, a 2.5, a 3.0, a 3.5, a 4.0, a 4.5, and believe it or not, even a 5.0. So if you like mag lip, you can find it in any size that you're looking for.
Let's take a look at the outside board. Now this board has been pretty quiet so far today, but this has been my first bite on this outside line, and what that means is it's my highest line. It seems like a little bit deeper fish today have been going, which is pretty indicative to after a blow. Those deeper fish seem to be not as messed up by the wind as much, so very normal for deeper fish to go after a big blow. But you always have to put a high line up there, and the reason for that is walleyes feed up in the water column, and the kiss of death of walleye fishing is fishing below them. So I always like to keep that outside board up there, just so I know if there's any high fish that I might not be marking high up in the water column that are up there actively feeding.
Well, obviously there's fish high and low in the water column. We're catching some fish high, some fish deep. We're actually catching some in between as well. But the task here is to figure out where the majority of the biters are at, and that's why we got our gear spread out right now. Soon we should be able to figure out where the best depth range is, and we're going to zero all our gear in where the most biters are at.
I'm pretty sure this fish ate both baits. That's how I got screwed up. I literally had the inside board go and then the outside board go, and those leads were very close to one another, and now they're both in the fish's mouth. So I'm pretty sure that this fish was a little hungry.
You gotta be kidding me.
I literally thought I had a double on, and I think I just had one very ambitious walleye.
Look at them. You're not kidding. Both baits are in that fish's mouth. Oh my goodness. Now that's an endorsement for the Mag Lip.
Yeah.
They eat every Mag Lip in the water column. That's really cool.
You know you have some hungry fish when they're willing to bite two lures at one time. So I thought I had a fish on the inside board. Then that shot forward and my outside board went back. The outside fish looked a little heavier, so I went ahead and grabbed the outside board, and I ended up being exactly the same fish. You see both of these baits. This one's still attached to my planer board out there. I literally have two Mag Lip in one mouth. That is a hungry walleye right there. That one needs to go back because these are the ones we want to breed, the hungry ones.
Special considerations are provided by Precision Trolling Data and the Lake St. Clair Walleye Association. Special considerations provided by the Ultimate Sport Show Tour, Michigan's elite sport shows. Eagle Claw presents the 411 on fishing.
You know, for years we've been teaching people how to rig offshore boards with something called the loop trick, and it's a method that allows the planer board to release when you've hooked a fish. The beauty of that is you don't have to fight the board when you're fighting the fish. The problem with the loop trick is it only works with monofilament. So if you're a braid guy and you like to fish with braided line, there's another method that Offshore Tackle has that will allow you to do the same thing. But in order to accomplish it, you're going to have to invest in a couple of aftermarket releases. On the front of the board here, you're going to need a release called the OR39 Sam's Pro release. It's made by Silverhorn Company. On the back of the board, you're going to need another release, and this is called the OR18 Snapper, and this is made by Offshore Tackle Company. The way this works is very simple. I like to put the board up against my chest like this. I hold the line underneath the plunger, and from the bottom to the top, you're going to wrap 1, 2, 3 times, and then close the plunger. Then you're going to take that line and go to the back release. In this case, it's the snapper, the 18. Slide it inside the release, close it. So now what you have is the line attached in 2 points. You have it attached to the tow arm. You also have it attached to the back. Now when you put this board in the water, let it out to the side, and you catch a fish, all you need to do is apply a little pressure from your rod tip. The release will pop open, and now the board is simply going to be attached to the line by the release on the back. When the board is no longer planing, it drops out of the planer board formation. So you can stack 2, 3, 4 lines aside with no problem. If you catch a fish on the outside line, you can fight that fish without having to clear any other boards that might be in front of it. It's an ingenious system, and it works flawlessly with braided line. You just put that in the water, didn't you?
Yeah, I literally just put this line in the water. I put a snap weight on it, an Offshore Tackle snap weight, just to get the crankbait a little bit deeper. In fact, not much deeper. The crankbait itself would have gone the depth that I put it. The beautiful thing about a snap weight is that I can shorten my leads. In my mind of trolling, I try to keep all my leads 100 foot or less. It just makes tangles very rare. You get a tangle if you have a lead less than 100 feet. So in my case, I like to put weight in front of the line if I need to get deeper without a 100 foot lead there. And pop that off, Dad.
I got it. I'm gonna stay right here and get that snap weight for you when it comes up.
Yeah, it'll be pretty close because it's I'm doing that 50+2 method, and I had a total lead of 70 feet.
You're good, Jakers.
The snap weight is a great tool. It's one of the tools that you should just always have in your boat. Whenever I'm fishing crankbaits, I have snap weights in the boat all the time because sometimes you just need to get down a little bit deeper than what that bait wants it to go. Oh yeah.
It's a Walter.
Not a giant, but he's spunky. What a good fish.
Yeah, he's a very good fish. This fish doesn't know that he's eating a salmon bait.
Very nice.
Apparently he didn't care that that's a salmon color.
This one right here would be the perfect one for eating. We're going to put them all back today so you can come out to Lake Erie and catch these fish yourself. But the Lake Erie system right now is just full of fish like this. There's a lot of short fish in the system, which is great for our future. There's a lot of big fish in the system and everywhere in between. But if you're keeping some to eat, it doesn't get much better than that one right there.
Oh man, that one's just buried, Jake. And get that board tripped. You know, we always rig our boards, our offshore boards, so that we can trip the board. And the reason for that is that once that board releases, I don't have to fight that board to reel it in. I'm just feeling the fish right now. I can feel him thumping back there, I can feel him fighting, and that's a beautiful thing. Otherwise, all I'd be feeling right now is the resistance of the planer board. And as it gets a little closer, you'll see what I'm talking about here. The board is still attached to the line, but only by the back release, not the front release. So it's no longer planing, it's just attached to the line. Oh, that's a lot of weight on there. You can see there, the snap weight's coming up there too.
The nice thing about releasing the boards too is that it's a one-handed operation. So if you have multiple fish on, it's really easy to take the board off by yourself. But in this case, I was easily able to take the board off for my dad with just one hand. Same thing with the snap weight. Basically just pinch and off it comes. And then it's just dabbing the fish.
All right, well now we just have to wait and see here what this buddy is going to turn out to be. And this is a pretty solid fish. My fingers crossed it's the right flavor. Oh yeah, definitely a good walleye.
Nice fish, Dad.
Absolutely
Very
what
nice
we're hoping
fish.
for. Good solid fish. I love it when a plan comes together. Definitely.
Special considerations are provided by Trailmaster Trailers and Daiwa Corporation. Special considerations are provided by Procure, ruthlessly effective bait scents.
Another rod fired, which is really indicative of you starting to figure things out. When you start getting doubles, obviously you're doing something right. And so I think we finally figured out the right water column, and we're starting to dial these fish in a little bit better. The next step will be to identify the runs. In other words, you know, eventually we're going to pull out of these fish, and so we'll identify exactly where the highest concentration of fish are, and then we'll shorten our passes and stay pretty much right on the areas where the fish are being productive and where we're catching the most productive fish. Oh, good feeling fish right here. That's definitely what we want. Good solid tugger. So it's kind of a carbon copy of the last one, so brothers.
Yeah, that is a nice fish, Dad. A little closer. Nice.
That's a classic color, a fire tiger, and this one is getting chewed up. There's hardly any paint left on it. I guess that's a good thing. When your cranky baits get to the point where they don't got any paint left on them, there's only one reason why that happens. You caught a lot of fish on it. Cool thing.
Got one going on the outside board here now, Dad. One of the nice things about the Lowrance Ghost electric motor with the autopilot is that you have a couple options for steering. Now you can steer with a key fob. It comes with a key fob I can keep around my neck. I don't have to have the key fob. I can literally steer right from the graph itself. And if I want to make a couple turns, I can actually just a couple degrees over and turn the boat right from my Lowrance electronics, which is really a nice feature. Not a giant, Dad, but another nice fish. It's been a really good grade here in this area we found.
I'll take those all day. In fact, we have taken these all day.
Yeah. There you go.
There's one.
Very nice. And not giant walleyes by Lake Erie standards, but if this is the grade of fish I got to sort through all day, you ain't gonna hear me complaining. One of the most common questions I get regarding the mag lip is, why is there already a snap on the bait itself? Do I take that off? What is the best thing to do? And the best thing to do is to actually take a crosslock snap that you already have tied on, basically snap the snap onto the crosslock snap that's on the bait. And what you have with the double snap is it allows that bait to have a lot more action. You get more side to side wiggle, which is ideal. That's exactly what you're looking for with this skip beat action. So not to say if you just have one snap on you won't catch fish, but if you're looking to get even more action, double that snap up and you'll catch a lot more fish.
Solid fish. Definitely a solid fish. Ooh.
Yeah, it's a nice fish.
Yeah, we'll take him. Whoa, come on, Bubba. Sorry about that, Jake. Couldn't quite get him in there I wanted him. Hey, my name is Mark Romanack, and I appreciate you tuning into Fishing 411 today. You get a chance to get out on Erie. If you get yourself in these situations where you're fishing after a blow, don't be afraid to cover some water. Use some crankbaits, troll a little bit faster. Use your electronics to find fish. Don't be in a hurry to set lines until you get on those fish. And once you do, you're going to be rewarded with lots of walleyes just like this one. If you like what you saw today, don't forget, you can check us out on Facebook. You can also check us out on our YouTube channel.
Closed captioning is provided by Lakeside Motorsports, Michigan's premier marine and power sports company. Fishing 411 is brought to you by Offshore Tackle, Lowrance Electronics, Starcraft Marine, Yamaha Outboards, Yakima Bait Company, Niagara Falls, USA, Smooth Moves, and Jay's Sporting Goods.
Some days are like this. You know, Jake was fighting that fish and talking a little bit about it. I look over and my board's going back. When you're in them, you're in them. And so doubles and triples are pretty darn common these days on Lake Erie. When you've got them dialed in,